I'm surrounded here by two most positive human beings in the studio, Phuong, Phan and Ella Gibbons, Atlas of Consciousness. Welcome back to the Three Quirks and a Turk.
Good to be here.
Yeah, so, we talk about the gloom, the doom, but no one really wants to talk about the light at the end of the tunnel. And today, to our listeners, we're surrounded by three massive magical lights within the Three Quirks and Turk, and we're going to be able to share some enlightenment stories to perhaps make your Friday a bit much better, a bit more positive. Ella, how's your life going?
Pretty good for a global apocalypse, I think.
Yes, we're still going strong.
What about you guys?
Global apocalypse.
Global.
You know what? I've got my guns, my arrows ready just to shoot some zombies.
I was thinking about zombies on the way in. I was this is pretty much like the zombie apocalypse.
Correct. There's so many zombies and there's so many movies out there where someone gets infected by a virus and then they touch or eat another person and then that person becomes a zombie.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, wow, can this world be like that? Can this actually be the movie that's going to happen in our real life? And I'm thinking that kind of like sounds a bit scary at times, right, girls?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking about how similar it is to all those 28 Days Later and all those other zombie movies.
Yeah.
You know, being in isolation, this is going to really test people if we have a lockdown here in Australia.
Yes.
When the war had happened years ago and everybody was isolated and everybody was not going out, it really tested them. But, we go crazy when we're at home here.
That's correct.
So how are we going to survive another 28 days or 14 days?
Well, they were saying self-imposed 14 days.
Yeah.
Our border has been closed down. Our Prime Minister has just announced Australia, we are shutting shop.
Yep.
He's also just announced that social isolation, there would be
social distancing as well.
And 4 square meter or something as well. And I'm thinking, wow, the world has come to this where we humans cannot even mingle. We can't go and talk to each other. To me, this sounds like another bloody conspiracy, another Hollywood movie, and I detest. I do not want to be involved in this. Ella, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, just remember that the government has shut the airports down, but they are asking all the locals, the permanent residencies, citizens to actually fly home.
Correct. But also, I think this creates a lot of fear in people, especially those who are have some sort of mental illness. Some are in depression, and it creates a lot of fear for those people. And I think that's not really fair. Now, touching about fear and depression, Ella Gibbons have also shared with us her past life that she went through
very briefly,
a major depression in her past life, and she overcome that. So to be able to let our listeners know a bit about your history. We won't go too much into Ella, but maybe how did you overcome your depression, may I ask?
Well, okay, so what I went through about 5 years ago was something called psychosis, and it's a mental illness where you have an experience where basically your worst fears come up, whatever that may be, and my fears were religious. They were all my worst fears, and basically how I overcame it was so many different things.
Yeah.
I focused on positive perspectives from people around me. I focused on writing down everything I was afraid of. And when I started writing down everything I was afraid of, I started to make progress. And over time, I started meditating, going for runs, creativity, counseling, reading a lot of really amazing self-help books and putting myself in nature. Nature was the king, basically.
Interesting you mentioned that nature, because in our society these days, I don't see a lot of people getting back with nature. Even like kids, I see a lot of parents tell kids not to get their hands dirty. I see a lot of parents telling kids don't go for a walk in the bush by yourself, stay inside the house.
Or running around with hand sanitizers after their kids too.
That's right.
Because when I grew up, I was running around climbing trees, rock climbing.
Me too.
The thing is, being in nature helps ground you. Okay, it helps you give back receive the energy from Earth. And now we're not receiving it because we're too much around in the office, catching trains, around cement. What do we need to do is actually create and allow us to actually use our parks, use our national parks.
But do you think, right, but this is just one way of thinking, right? It's like if you notice with the young kids these days who are growing up, they're not in touch with nature. They're not out there playing out in the bush, filling the trees and so. Do you think the long-term implication, right, is that it has some sort of effect on the youth today?
It has a total effect on our whole civilization.
Yeah, you think so, right?
Basically, the sort of big solution to the coronavirus or to any kind of major illness is nature. Nature heals. So the most important thing that we could be doing at this time is heading out into nature and spending quality time there, spending space, connecting with nature.
And there is a documentary called The Grounding, which has proof, because I've actually watched it. Because
what's The Grounding?
It's called The Grounding. It's a documentary of a gentleman who had inflammation in his fingers. He had to shovel snow out of from his driveway, and his fingers started to become really sore, and he couldn't shovel. So, and he had a lot of pain through his body. So when he went to do research, the natural way of how to heal himself, he found out lots and lots of research on the internet, and then he put it all together. He decided to get underneath the house, and he took away the snow that was building up, and he put his own body, so he was naked underneath his soil. So he stuck himself in there for 2 hours. He noticed a big difference in his inflammation. So what he did was he wanted to share this with the community.
Yes.
And in order to do this, he had to actually had a seminar set up with his projectors and all the research he had found to share with the community, so that he invited everybody. And I think it was north of Canada. He put everybody in the room.
Naked?
No. So no.
I was thinking, where do I sign up?
But he wanted to show proof that this was actually working. So he created what is called a grounding mat. And this grounding mat was connected to a wire. And it was wired outside, connected into Mother's Nature, into the ground. So it's through the window into the ground. People had to take the shoes off, and they sat there while listening to him about the research and stats. And then people realised after 2 hours they felt a difference in their body.
Amazing.
So I thought that was just amazing, a miracle to help a lot of people. But he wanted to share this. However, there was an older lady, senior lady, who was taking medication. And you know when you take medication, it's just this thing in your head, you're going to take it because you think you need it. But truly, do you need it? Because a lot of people overuse and abuse medication. So this particular senior lady in the documentary didn't want to actually listen to him, because if she doesn't buy medication, her supplementary gets cut, her funding gets cut from the government. So she was too scared to actually go ahead and do that. She didn't want to really. There's a thought in your head that starts to fight. Why should I do this? It's not proven. I haven't seen this, and all that sort of stuff. But
it's interesting that you touched base on that. Now let's go back to Ella, right? Ella, you have always been a very positive kind of a person. You love the positive vibe, the lights and all that. You know, lights and a positive light. What's your view in terms of like the way things are going now, in a sense that people are not really in touch with their mental and their spiritual well-being, but they focus too much on the external? Do you think the long-term implication is that the way things are moving, it's going to come back and haunt us?
Well, I feel like this is the haunting right now. We're experiencing it right now, but it's an opportunity.
Yes.
We don't need to continue to be haunted by what's being experienced right now. Phuong's, that was an amazing story. And that's completely true. It's we've got something that's airborne. What's needed energetically is grounding, and grounding occurs by being in nature, putting your feet on the ground, being back in touch with nature, and tuning in to yourself.
And what we want to touch base in this segment is about power, because your topic is about power, your podcasting. And this, with nature, it comes with power. It comes with the inner power that brings out for us to manage our mindset, manage our body, right?
Nature is power. You look at the sun, you look at the rain, you look at the storm. That is power. That's natural power that we humans we're actually neglecting these days. We're not really in tune with nature, right? And that's something that we're going to talk a bit more about today. And that's something you can share with us, is right, Ella?
Definitely.
In the studio with the Three Quirks and Talk, we have Ella Gibbons, Atlas of Consciousness, and also she runs her own production company. Again, she's visiting us with Three Quirks and Talk, and we're going to talk a bit more about power within the human. And Ella, you're here with us today. You're going to share that with us, right?
I will be.
Yes. How's the production going, by the way?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
But actually, there's a few, specifically the productions that are on. There's some that are up in the air because of everything that's happening.
Correct.
Or more rightly said, on the ground.
Yes.
And so in terms of the productions, the shoots, definitely affected. Editing, not affected at all.
Oh, editing, you're stuck in the room.
1,000% more productive.
Yes. We want to be able to talk to Ella Gibbons today about the coronavirus. She does a lot of podcasting in this particular space in terms of the human power, the human spirit, how we can conquer anything we wanted to. But today we want to be able to talk to Ella about humanity and our common goals and how we should get together and work together on this. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, my thought is that it's an opportunity. The coronavirus, when viewed as potentially lifting up fears that we have within ourselves, it's an opportunity to look at those fears and treat them with love and transcend them and make choices that are really powerful for us as individuals.
So you're saying that we should confront fear right on and take fear right on in front instead of running away or have this sheep mentality, but we should be able to deal with it as a human being. We should.
I think the most important thing is that you say you have to travel somewhere, you start getting anxious and fearful. It's really important to start asking your body, what is this fear about? What is this anxiety about? And letting that go and surrendering that.
Yeah. Because the media is not doing anyone a favor in terms of the coronavirus. And I'm the most positive person, and Phuong, he will be the most positive person you would know. And all we see these days is coronavirus. My theory is, you know what? Put all that aside. Let's get everyone together, chuck a shrimp on a barbie, and have a beer. Corona beer, and just enjoy humanity as we should be, right?
Absolutely, Davy. And Ella, in your statement, you said that it is time for true power to go viral. Tell us more about that. Let's go deep in that.
Okay, so if we started by seeing that the coronavirus or any sense of powerlessness is an opportunity, then it's an opportunity to face ourselves and face that part of ourselves that feels powerless. So absolutely the coronavirus is making us feel totally powerless. We're seeing it. It's an opportunity. And say, in theory, you were able to face that part of yourself and you're able to make a different choice and choose power, choose nature, choose the ways you are powerful, which is meditation, exercise, connection deeply with yourselves. What's available on the other side of all of this is the ability for true power, that is true connection to our deepest inner selves, to rise up and go viral, basically.
And I think we humans, we do have that superpower. And a lot of people don't realize that. The mind is so powerful. We humans are so powerful, and we're only using 10% of our mind. You know, if only everyone can tune in and use 150% of the brain, can you imagine what the world would look like?
Well, God, there's so much power in here already. But the other thing is, Ella, going back to we were talking about grounding in our last segment, but also you were saying that go back to nature, and you said you meditated or you were grounded at the park underneath the tree probably for 2 hours.
I have been meditating a lot for a few years. Every morning I'll do an hour to a 2 hour meditation. And the reason is, many years ago I went through a psychosis and I faced my worst fears, and I really came to see how powerful my mind was. And from that point I made a choice and I said, I will never ever let this happen again. And I jumped on Headspace, the meditation app, and since then I learned to meditate, and 5 years later my whole life is totally different. I'm sitting with you guys because of my life being totally different. And it's everything to do with meditation. It's everything to do with letting go of witnessing those parts of myself that are so frightened, and letting those go and making a choice in the direction of what I'm passionate about and what I love.
You know, for those who don't understand and who want to be able to learn a bit more about meditating, because meditating can be so deep. You know, people these days don't tend to do a lot of that. So let's touch base a bit more on self-meditation, taking your time away from the busyness in our society. And you touch base on the fact that you actually meditate with nature in the trees. So let's explore that. So what would one need to do to be able to get themselves into the mind space?
I think when you're first starting with meditation, it's really good to have an app. It's really good to have a guided meditation and have Oh, look at
Good
you
as that.
go. Starting with now.
That's it.
Focus on your breath.
Okay.
But it is like this. Focus on your breath.
Okay.
Focus on your breath. And then you start to become aware of the sensations in your body, basically. And
you're going to put me to sleep.
Yeah.
Davy.
I am just in the right mind frame at the moment. I'm enjoying this conversation. Girls, you girls go and talk.
I'm only joking. I meditate, and I truly agree with what Ellie was saying about meditation, because I meditate an hour every day as well, and it's self-centering yourself. But when you meditate, though, because a lot of people who are out there who did meditate, who started meditating, they said, this is not for me.
Why is it not for them? Why is it not for them?
Because I've tried it once, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But there's no one way of meditating, right?
well, you can start with great music, like what Davy's giving us.
Yes, this is perfect.
There's so many ways, and I think the idea is the ability to focus, and I think that's why it's really good to have an app to start with and have a voice to help you stay focused.
But when you meditate, though, Ella, that when you say we go deeper, okay, we do go deeper. But what are people trying to listen to? What are they trying to hear? What did you hear when you went deeper?
I started to hear the voice of wisdom. I started to hear what I'm really, really passionate about. And I started to hear where there were all these negative voices that were moving against what I really, really wanted to do with my life. And there were so many, years and years of really negative voices in my mind, in my body that were so much against what I wanted for myself.
But you're talking about deeper connection, right? Okay, we live in a society where it's just real fast paced. Everybody's working hard. Everyone's working.
And everything is external.
External, right? So would you say, or one would assume, right, if your life is so hectic, your internal spirit is also hectic, right? So you're saying, Ella, that it's always good to maybe work out like a certain time in a day, just to step away from reality and just spend an hour or half an hour, hug a tree maybe, and meditate for half an hour. Do you think that will give you that balance within your life?
I think starting the day with meditation is pretty powerful because you set up your mind, you set up your intention for the day. And hugging a tree actually works, it's a form of grounding.
And people may laugh at that, but if they've tried it out, there's magic in it.
Tree hugs you back.
Yeah. I love trees, no doubt about it.
But the thing is, with yes, meditation starts your day, but then it comes down to also taking the next step, which is action, right? People have a long to-do list instead of a to-be list. But when we're going to go back into your conversation about you having a conversation with yourself, your conscious brain is talking to you, your subconscious brain, your superconscious brain is talking to you, sharing and saying to you, this is what you got to do. But what was the first thing that you did to take that step?
Well, if we're talking about back many years ago where it all began, I think I just started to feel a pull. I started to, I think one of the first really cool creative things that came out of all this meditating was I had this impulse to write a book. And I started hearing all these phrases in my mind, new artistic insights that I felt blow people's minds away because they were so fresh and new to me. And to start with, they were there to guide me. And so my impulse was, I've got to make space to write this book. And every morning I would set aside time to go to the library and write chapters, and I structured out my life. And meditation was just a way to tune into this deeper artistry. And I guess the way this all connects to what's happening now on the global scale is that we don't have to tune into the fear. We don't have to choose that our lives are going to be run by the experience of the coronavirus. We can choose that it's an opportunity to see what we're afraid of and, say with meditation, tap into what we're most passionate about, which is artistry. And so we're clearing that energy. We're clearing that energy space and allowing ourselves to be even more connected to ourselves, even freer and even more able to bring forward something that's going to completely potentially transform the planet.
We were touching base on trees, and I want to share a little story with both of you here today, right? About 4 weeks ago, my neighbor, she's an 80-year-old lady. She lives by herself, and there's a tree. There's a nice bougainvillea tree, and she loves it. It fell over and it died. So I said to her, look, I'm gonna remove this tree for you, and I'll give you another tree to replace it. But what the magical thing is, so I just realized today, Phuong and Ella, was that this tree is a bougainvillea. I chopped it off and I said, I want to save this tree. The roots were all been pulled up and all that from the storm. But I said, I feel like I can save this tree. So I prune it and all that, and I put it into a pot. And every day I would water it, and I would come up and I would caress the leaf, and I would talk to it. Behold, today I went home, I looked at it, and it's starting to shoot out leaf from the dead trunk.
Beautiful.
It goes to show, right, the power within us humans to heal nature and someone else. And humans.
But trees have ears.
Correct.
So when you water, your plants, it actually, gives off oxytocin. So it actually gives you more air, good air.
Wasn't there a social experiment a few years ago in Japan where this girl, she had two plants? She had one in her room and one in the other room. And the one that she talked so negative to it all the time, that turned purple and died. The one that she talked to it positively, it actually bloomed and it grew. So it goes to show what you're saying, Ella, is that Mother Nature is there for us if we're willing to reach out and work with her and be with her. And this is something that our society these days, we're lacking that. We're lacking that.
So going back to Ella's message about power, so if you put that thought of power inside you, in your energy cell, you vibrate that, right? And that's what you probably have felt when you thought, oh, you know what, my podcast is going to be around the topic of power. So let's talk about, do we have more time? Or
we will have another break, and I'll give you girls to change into your superpower gear, and we'll come back and talk about
We've got it on,
power.
Davy.
We really got it on. It's in my head. I am Iron Man cross Superman. What's your superpower, Ella? Who's your superpower?
Harry Styles.
Oh, yes!
Are you for real?
I was going to say, can I make a request? Can I make a musical request?
What?
Later on.
Later
I wanted
on.
a Harry Styles song.
She actually wants to see Harry Styles in person as well.
Done.
One day.
Done.
Yes.
That can be arranged. You're
Universe,
listening.
please.
Correct. Let's get Katy Perry on. Teenage Dream, 89.3 FM, 3 Quirks and a turn.
Hey, it's Katy Perry, and this is Teenage Dream from my new album, which will be released on August 27th. So be on the lookout for it.
You think I'm pretty without any makeup on. You think I'm funny when I tell the punchline wrong. I know you get me, so I let my walls come down, down. Before you met me, I was alright, but things were kinda heavy. You brought me to life now. Every February, you'll be my Valentine, Valentine.
White lips, pale face, breathing in snowflakes, burnt lungs, sour taste. Lights gone, day's end, struggling to pay rent, long nights, strange men. And they say she's in the class A team, stuck in her daydream. Been this way since 18, but lately her face seems slowly sinking, wasting, crumbling like pastries. And they scream the worst things in life come free to us, 'cause we're just under the upper hand. I'll go mad for a couple grams, and she don't wanna go outside tonight. And in a pipe she flies to the motherland, or sells love to another man. It's too cold outside for angels to fly. Ripped gloves, raincoat, tried to swim, stay afloat. Dry house and wet clothes. Loose change, banknotes, weary-eyed, dry throat. Cool girl, no phone. And they say she's in the class A team, stuck in her daydream. Been this way since 18, but lately her face seems slowly sinking, wasting, crumbling like pastries. And they scream the worst things in life come free to us, 'cause we're just under the upper hand. I'll go mad for a couple grams, but she don't wanna go outside tonight. And in a pipe she flies to the motherland, and sells love to another man. It's too cold outside for angels to fly. An angel will die, covered in white, closed eyed and hoping for a better life. This time we'll fade out tonight, straight down the line. And we're all under the upper hand, and go mad for a couple grams. And we don't wanna go outside tonight. In the pipe, we fly to the motherland, or sell love to another man. It's too cold outside for angels to fly. Angels to fly. Fly, fly, for angels to fly. To fly, to fly, angels to die.
Always wanted to do this. 89.3 2GLF, your local station.
I've never felt so accepted in all my life.
I can't believe it. You're a dream coming true. I can't believe how I had fallen for you, and I was not looking, was content to read
you. Oh, I can't believe it. Your dream coming true. Oh, I can't believe how I have fallen for you. And I was not looking, was content to remain. And it's erotic to be back in the game. Oh, 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 your dream coming true. Oh, my, I have fallen for you. Oh, 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 your dream coming true. Oh, my, I have fallen for you. Yeah, your dream coming true. Oh, my, I have fallen for you.
89.3 FM, Lauren Wood, Fallen. You're listening to the Three Quirks and a Turk. We hope that you enjoy our music selection and also our wonderful guest here, Ella Gibbons, talking about power within and us, humanity as well. It's Friday, it's a drive home safely. Looking forward to having this great conversation. And as always, guys, we'd like to empower you to do something positive with your life. And this conversation today is definitely revolving around light and positive and power. Is that right, girls?
Correct.
Yes. What's your take with this whole coronavirus that you want to share with us today, Ella?
Yeah, so I mean, what I was saying is it's an opportunity. And actually, I had a bunch of insights come forward. That
what's your insight there?
I could share that'll help people move through it.
Okay.
So what if we were to see the coronavirus as something that can support us with what is needed in ourselves right now? And what is needed is for us to slow down, and we were talking about grounding earlier. What if we can see it as an opportunity to be solid in ourselves, contemplate, be introspective, and connect to our true global family, and connect to that feeling that we're actually one and the same. I think what's been actually helpful in this is that we're really uniting. You know, we're really seeing there is no divide. We really are the same. So I also had this insight: never underestimate the power of your heart as the true medicine. That is the power of your experiences. And what if the answer is simple: to stay tuned into yourself, to stay tuned into that. We're talking about grounding, that connection to nature. I moved into a new house a little while back, and it was so hard for me at the beginning. It was so rocky and tough. I faced a lot of fears. I wasn't sure if I could financially afford it. But on the other side, it's fine. You know, I've been living there I love it. And what if this is the rocky path to a new way of doing things, a new harmonious planet? I had this cool one come through: tune into your own channel every morning through meditation, because collectively at the moment we're tuning into media channels, we're tuning into every other channel, but we're not tuning into our channel, and it's actually absolutely unreal if you allow that space.
So what's your channel looking like now, Phuong? Like, after hearing what Ella is saying, what does your channel looks like?
Well, my channel looks almost like that. But it's great that Ella is reminding me that is the power. You know, really it is. We need to really tune into us, because when we stop tuning into us, we're changing our frequency.
So Ella, what if a penguin just walks into the Three Quirks studio now with a Mexican hat? What would you say to that penguin right now?
Let's dance. That's what I'll be saying.
I would say I definitely am in some weird place now. Definitely, we've gone.
I'd be absolutely concerned why the penguin's out here. But can we just go back to this with
we can come back, but
no.
Do you want me to actually?
Yeah,
I'd like you to answer that. So a penguin walks into the studio right now. It's opening the door.
But is it related to the virus?
Oh, it does. Well, it's up to you.
It's up to me.
It's up to you. So this is what I'm trying to say: is we have the power to make anything possible. So this is your opportunity right here. A penguin's walking in with a Mexican hat and a Hawaiian shirt. This is your opportunity to flex your power onto this penguin. What will you do?
Well, I think I would just respond like every other human and go, what the F is happening right now? How did a penguin move from Antarctica to where we are?
Yeah.
Did it come from a zoo? Why is it wearing a Mexican hat? Why
This is Davy's creativity.
I'm like,
He can say to me, that penguin saying, guys, I have the solution for the coronavirus.
what is it?
I have the solution for coronavirus. Let's just not worry. Let's not fear. And let's just dance and eat and be happy. Right? That's my vision for that. Just a food for thought.
Sorry, you'll have to excuse me for not taking that as the first.
Yes.
The first
Yes,
response.
you can't take Davy always seriously. It's metaphorically what he's trying to get through. But going back to connecting, and you said that we are one. Now, a lot of people don't see it that way. Okay.
Well, we don't see that in the media. Like, you're right, Ella. You're saying that we should be as one. We should be united. But we see everything the opposite within the last 2 or 3 weeks. We're seeing people not helping each other. We're seeing people fighting over damn toilet rolls.
But there's also there's an increase in racism as
Correct.
well. So and the thing is, going back before this coronavirus, whole mass media about it, but the bushfire, when the whole
So
world
big, yeah.
became one.
That's right.
That's humanity coming together and connecting, right?
Yeah.
And it should be similar to this outbreak.
Yes, I mean that's the opportunity that's available. I'm going to point out some of the cool things that are unfolding because of this. So Chris Martin from lead singer of Coldplay did
I saw that.
hashtag Together at Home, and he did a home concert.
Yes.
And then there's
John Legend as well did that.
Oh, he
as well.
joined in. That's
Yes.
so
Yeah,
good.
that's
And
good.
there was an amazing post that sort of been shared around a lot on Facebook. This guy that said that the air quality in Wuhan is now clear. The birds are singing.
Yeah.
Italians are singing in the streets. You know,
In the
people are
balconies.
helping.
Actually,
of their
apparently they
apartments.
were saying in Italy, the whales and dolphins are in the shore.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So maybe this
Ooh.
is Mother's Nature way of resetting the environment,
I
the
believe so.
planet.
Are the
I don't
penguins
know.
there as well?
Well,
The Mexican hat and the
with the
Hawaiian
Mexican
shirt.
hat. That penguin has got power. You know, it's got power.
That's going to be the new symbol of
You know?
a new planet. The penguin walking through the... That's it. We're here. We've made it. We've made it.
Oh, you've been drinking too much Corona beer, Davy.
You know, but the point I'm trying to make here, girls, is that we love to talk positive, and that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people like to talk positive. We don't do things positive, but to me, it's always about the action. What are we doing as an individual to empower the world, to empower someone down the street and our neighbor to unite and live in a very harmonious environment? I like to say that I'm using this media channel to plant the seed and get the message out there that we humans, we need to look after each other, support each other, especially in a time of need like this. You too,
No,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch base with something that you said about never underestimate the power of your heart. The heart holds healing, right? Is this where we're going with that statement?
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you want to elaborate that a little bit more? Because people don't understand how strong and how powerful this heart of ours is. And it's just as powerful as the mind.
I'm so glad you asked this question. I am going to give you a reference point in
Go
my
ahead.
experiences. So a few years back when I was healing through the psychosis and I was having to face these terrifying fears in my body, in my mind, I had a shoot over in Broome and Alice Springs, and I was filming Indigenous stories. It was incredible. And I ended up on this beach in Western Australia and just looking at this immaculate sunset with this marshland, almost looked like a cross between the Lord of the Rings and just this beautiful pastel pink sunset. And I sat there, you know, after having so many fears, and I could just feel those fears melt away. And it wasn't just that one experience. It was a cumulative effect of so many positive experiences. You know, I was in the Blue Mountains and, you know, having runs out there and just being so connected to this huge positivity with amazing music. It was mainly it was actually the thing that healed me was that connection to life itself, having these surprisingly beautiful heart-opening moments that would catch me almost off guard, that to show me that, you know, this is a loving universe. If we can see it that way, if we allow ourselves to see it that way, there were just so many special moments where I was sort of caught off guard by how much beauty and love there is available, and that is actually what's healed me. That's actually why I can talk now, because I was just fed with these nourishing, loving experiences, and that's all that's really missing. You know, even if we have to face something as globally challenging as the coronavirus or climate change or any of these big challenges, what we're really, really needing are those nourishing, loving experiences. That's what will help each individual heal, and that's what's going to support each person to express themselves more into, you know, more creativity, more empowerment.
This is just a thought process that I'm thinking, right? You're here today to be able to share your thoughts, your inner power, to perhaps to listeners out there who are tuning in right now to take something away. Now, if you have an opportunity to change someone's life through your experience, through your work and through your friends, what would those three advice be if someone are struggling at the moment in their time of need, or they're going through a situation where now they need some sort of that wisdom voice within their head? Now, if you have this opportunity right now, Ella, and this is your opportunity, what would three advice that you would give someone out there who are lonely, who need some sort of advice to bring some light, some healing, and some power back into their life?
Number one, meditation. Take time right now to start learning how to meditate.
Okay.
That is the beginning to get in touch with your true self, the deeper self, your creativity once again, letting go of what you're afraid of, letting go of these things that are creating huge anxiety from the outside world. Number two, connect again with your family and friends, those that you really, really love. And if you're feeling very, very isolated, and I have done this, I have been very, very alone, feeling even I didn't have family and friends at times, that's when you start with meditation and creativity. And the third thing I would say is trust yourself. So when I say that, I mean we all know, I believe that we all know deep inside, even if it feels very buried underneath many other layers, that we have something very special to bring to the world. And everyone has something unique, and it is nothing like anyone else's. We've lived in a society of comparison, but actually it's just working against us, because we each are incredible and we have something very, very special inside of us. So what the meditation does, what the connecting with friends and family does, connecting with your creativity, is it just cultivates that specialness.
Why do you think that a lot of people don't trust in themselves?
Well, we were raised to not trust in ourselves. It's pretty simple to see that all around us, it's constantly that we have to compare ourselves, we have to be competitive, we have to be frightened of everything, and there's no real space to cultivate what we really believe in and what we truly love and gives us purpose.
Absolutely. This is about what you're trying to say, really, it encapsulate is being in an awareness state and being in the now and understanding where we are right now, not in the past, because we tend to look at the past and then again your head goes through that negative thought pattern. I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, she's better than me, or he's got cars and he's got this and that, but we're not in awareness of and being so grateful for what we have in the moment.
So the question, how important would it be also to surround yourself with like-minded people like yourself?
I think the most powerful thing you can do is to start to understand how the impact that everyone has on you, you know. And one of the first things I think I started to really recognize was the people that really helped me feel, the people, not just people, but experiences, the experiences in my life. I started to notice the things that enrich me, and that was, you know, going for runs, being creative again, and learning an instrument and singing. These are the things that made me feel healthier and more healed, and letting go of that anxiety, meditation, and the things that you know, it's a societal thing. We know that bad foods make us feel less well. There are certain experiences in our lives that are potentially more violent, and to spend less time around those while we're cultivating the space that we need to create our, you know, our own expression.
So those 3 points that you've shared, meditation, connecting with people, would that be the same advice you'd be giving to your younger 18-year-old version of yourself? Or would it be different?
She's only 19, but anyway.
Yeah. You mean last year?
You do look like you're 19.
I stopped aging when I was 15. I am 31 for everyone that's still.
Oh, you're 31. I'm 29.
Okay.
Phuong is
I'm the oldest always in the
She's
studio.
45, so, you know.
45, you added 5 years.
Button. That is such an awesome question. You always have the best questions. I have to just compliment.
Thank you.
Probably. In looking back, oh man. I mean, the thing about growing is you can't say change. If I went back and, you know, you should have done this, you should have done that. It's like I wouldn't be who I am now if I wasn't who I was back then. But if I got in a time capsule and I went back, you know, I was so full of passion for film and passion for music, and I would never stop that. But I would say trust yourself, because back then I had a huge desire to make music videos. And, you know, we would all be out late at night, my friends and I would watch these music videos when everyone was getting drunk, and I just desperately wished that I was making music videos. At 26, I had fulfilled my dream of making music videos with my favorite artists, and all I would say to that part of myself is, yes, cultivate more time for yourself. But I would have said what I needed really back then was trust yourself, because I didn't trust myself. You know, I was.
That's because of lack of confidence.
It was external factors. I worked in a job that I wasn't passionate about, and there was a lot of, just like any artist or any person as you grow, there was a lot of doubt, and all through my 20s it was just doubt, lots and lots. I was in my 20s, you know, I just spent a lot of time
you make
doubting.
no mistakes as well,
a lot
right?
of mistakes.
What about you, Phuong? What you would say to yourself
at the age of 18 to that 18-year-old? Same again, I wouldn't want to change anything that had happened in my life, but there is a major factor. When I was 15, 16, 17, 18, people used to study academically really strong. I wasn't I was trying to study hard, and I did have my fun time, but I couldn't remember a lot of things. And when it came to economics, I failed, and then business failed. I did 3-unit and 4-unit maths, but I wasn't still strong enough. And may that be a judgment on myself. That could possibly be the sound of it, but I wasn't a very good studious kid. However, I did have the problem of remembering things. So I would say to myself, first off, is remember why you can't remember, because that was my block of success. And when I started to find out why I can't remember, and that went back to the age
why can't you remember?
Because when I was 5 years old, my mum was teaching me maths, right? And she would teach me, but then I couldn't remember the methodology behind it. And my mum had a bit of a temper at the time. How much I love my mum, bless her, but in my head, I wasn't good enough, and it sat in my head saying I can't remember from then on.
Wow, interesting.
So it affected my studies, it affected my academic life, and then when I was 36, that's when I found out, because the first thing is, again, like Ella, that switch in your head, you turn on that light and go, I don't want that old life anymore, and you're in desperation, and you find anything to get yourself out of it. And when I found out, I got to work out why I can't remember. When I did, that was the trigger because I read books now. And I read a book a day.
Interesting.
And I love finding about people, but I love finding about me. Trusting yourself, Ella. That's a really strong statement, I have to say, because I have to say, when I was going through that teenage time, I didn't know what my identity is. And I believe a lot of people didn't know what their identity is. And it's about loving yourself. And then when you do love yourself, it's about how do you want to be treated. So if you're going to treat somebody who comes in the studio, for example, I want to give them the most kind respect and full attention that they actually deserve, because it's all about the people that we interview, right? Or about my clients that I coach. So it's my energy giving it to them. So loving yourself and understand quantum physics and energy, because
There you
that
go.
will change.
I asked for 1, but
Sorry.
you gave 10. But it's so good. It's
I've
so
written a
good.
whole book about this too.
Now, Ella, how much do you trust in your music?
Oh,
Do you have a guitar out there?
I brought the. It's funny because I brought the guitar because I had this thought, maybe they'll want some music. How much do I trust in my music?
And how much do you trust in me to play your favorite song?
Oh, you can play my favorite song, but my musical ability is still early stages.
Do you want to play?
Well,
Do we actually want to lose more bloody listeners?
No.
You know,
No, but this is me just getting you out of your
comfort zone.
yeah.
Well, let's sleep on that. But let's grant her one wish and the power within her wish, and that she loved this dude by the name Harry Styles. I don't know what she likes about this guy. Maybe it's the music, the way he looks, but this is
Maybe
the
both.
power within you that we're going to grant you that. Harry Styles, light up.
What do you mean? I'm sorry, by the way. Never coming back down. Can't you see I could but wouldn't stay? Wouldn't put it like that. What do you mean? I'm sorry, by the way. Never coming around. Be so sweet if things just stay the same. All the lights couldn't put out the dark. Running through my heart. Lights off and they know who you are. Know who you are. Do you know who you are? Step into the light, so bright sometimes. I'm not ever going back. Step into the light, so bright sometimes. I'm not ever going back. Step into the light, so bright sometimes. I'm not ever. What do you mean? I'm sorry, by the way. Never going back now. Be so sweet if things just stay the same. All the lights couldn't put out the dark. Running through my heart. Lights off and they know who you are. Know who you are. Do you know who you are? Come on, skinny love, just last the year. Poor little soul, we were never here. My, 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 my. Staring at the sink of blood and crushed veneer. Tell my love to wreck it all. Cut out all the ropes and let me fall. My, 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 my. Right in the moment, his heart is tall. And I told you to be patient, and I told you to be fast.
101.3 FM. You're listening to the Three Quirks Talk. It's Friday. Why be moody? You're going to shake your booty and tune into Three Quirks Talk. Before that, Birdie, Skinny Love, Titanium Sky, Ollie Mars, Dance With Me Tonight. And you know what? Everyone's in the studio with the Three Quirks. They're dancing. They're enjoying themselves. Ella, you're enjoying yourself. The penguin's gone to save the world, right? You can take the penguin home and bring it back to me next time I see you,
Oh,
right?
take some tips.
Yeah.
We didn't finish. So what was your superhero power?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh man, I think I just said Harry Styles.
Oh, yeah, you did.
What is my actual superhero
Yeah.
power? What do I want? I wish
Yeah.
I could fly.
Flying is good. I like flying.
And I always have these dreams where I'm flying. And I always see it as this huge metaphor that whenever I have these dreams that I'm flying, I'm actually flying in my life. And then I'll have these opposite dreams where I'm caged and
Yeah.
you know,
Opposite dream that you're being caged, like
as in an opposite of an opposite dream where I, you know, in those
Fly.
dreams I'm feeling caged and
Yeah.
and so in the dream I'll be in a cage or something like that. So the opposite to that, you know, having these dreams
Freedom.
of flying, yeah.
And what does a cage look like?
Well, it's actually a lot of things. It's not. There's the metaphors of the
Yeah.
cage, but then I'll also have experiences where I'm sort of, you know, I'll be in a situation that's from my past where I felt very trapped, and I'll
Yeah.
always be in the same really small space.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so, yeah, they're the two opposite ends. So we've got in my dreams these like really tight, small spaces.
Yeah.
And then there's these really broad, open feelings
Okay.
of flying. And
All right.
yeah.
So, since we're on this topic, I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'm going to chunk you up. I'm going to chunk you down. Now, in the cage, all right, you mentioned what it looks like, right? What does it smell like in this cage?
yeah. Do you smell in your dreams?
Can you
In my
Can you,
dreams?
can you
I
smell it?
actually can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, can anyone smell in
Oh,
my
of
dreams?
course.
Some people
If
can.
you're strong enough about your dream,
Wow,
you can
fascinating.
smell. Yeah, you can smell it. You can taste it,
Wow, I don't know if I want
and you can feel it.
the possibility to. Yeah, no, in mine it's more cinematic. It just is more
It's in
that
colour?
I'm watching. Yes, color, but it's always this kind of murky gray tone through my dreams. And yeah, whereas
That's interesting.
my waking life is more saturated, I guess.
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
more physical. But a lot of the flying dreams I'm checking. I always check the tables and the walls that I'm actually flying and that I'm
Wow.
actually in physical reality. And then I go, yes, I'm actually flying. And then I wake up and I go, oh, damn it.
Reality.
Since we're on the topic of
Astral
humans,
travelling.
right? Since we're on the topic of humans and all that, I just want to ask your opinion. Where do you think we originated from as humans?
That's really hard because there's so many origin
Yeah.
stories. And I just honestly have no idea.
Yeah.
Because you could basically follow any timeline
Correct.
backwards and everyone would go, oh, you started from this star system or, you know, you came from the apes or, you know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
The
I
ape
think
is one theory.
Maybe they're all possible. Maybe none of, you know, maybe they're all true and none of it's true. And
What about you, Phuong? Where do you think human beings, our origin, where do we come from?
Thoughts. So, stars.
Stars. It's funny. There's an article coming out this week. Prehistorical Finns reviews that humans, we actually come from some sort of fish 380 million years ago in Canada. So I'm thinking, surely we humans are more smarter, more intelligent than coming from a fish. You agree with me, girls?
We could have come from anywhere.
I mean, it's all evolution, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could have started as a fish and then
Yeah.
over a million years, the 2 million or 3 billion, eventually we get to where we are.
Well, the astronomer Carl Jung, he wrote a book and he had a TV documentary
Yeah.
about astrology,
Okay.
stars and planets.
Yes.
And he was saying that we're made of oxygen, nitrogen, and was it carbon dioxide? I think it was
Carbon dioxide.
No, hold on, oxygen, nitrogen, and something else. And he was saying
Carbon
that
monoxide is bad for you.
I can't remember what was the third ingredient, but he was saying that we actually have stardust. And I always thought we did come from stars because we do shine, right? We do sparkle.
Do you mean
Yeah.
Carl Sagan?
No, Carl Jung.
Oh, Carl Jung.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he did a documentary saying that, because I was 8 at the time, so
Yeah.
I was watching this going, oh, how
Is
are we
it
made from
Cosmos?
Cosmos? Probably.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Carl Sagan.
No, it was Carl
No?
Jung. It's
Okay.
Carl Jung. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely. So he was saying that we were from stars and from planets, and we have that, so we can shine brightly. And this comes down to, because we were talking about when you were saying that with, what was it, the comparison of one is labeled bad, positive, and one's labeled good.
Negative.
And positive and negative.
Right.
What was that one? You were
What, in
saying?
this conversation?
Yeah, in our segment. So, Dr. Emoto did one on water.
Yeah.
And he also looked under the microscope after he actually frozen one glass filled with water.
Yeah.
One was labelled happy, another one was labelled joy, anger. And under the microscope, one sparkled with love. It's much more beautiful, right?
Yeah.
It's much more detailed. Whereas something that was labelled scared
Yes.
or anger, it wasn't as beautiful. It didn't come out like a star-like image. So with us, that's the same with our energy. So we're talking about energy with Ella Gibbons here. When we vibrate, when we meditate, and when we increase our frequency, we do become like stars. So there's a bit of
we are
questions.
stars in our own world. We're heroes.
We're
in
universe.
Our own world.
We're universe
Correct. So
evolving.
it's all about positive thinking, and I'm so glad Ellie Gibbons you're here with us today. To our listeners out there, for the last 2 hours, Ella's with us. We're talking about humanity. We're talking about the power within. We're talking about helping each other. But then also, if they wanted to reach out to you, Ella, as well, there's a podcasting you're doing already, and it's out there. So if they want to reach out to you, Ella, and get more information regarding what you do, what's the best channel for them to get hold of you?
So they can head to the website, theatlasofconsciousness.com, or the Facebook page, The Atlas of Consciousness. And there's also a podcast, which is called the Atlas Emotion Series podcast, and it's on iTunes, Spotify.
Okay.
And I also put it in video form up on YouTube.
Yes.
And it's basically about how our emotions ripple out and affect the world. And I find that it's actually always very topical. So the last episode was on climate change and harmony, because in Australia we were facing the bushfires, and this month it's on power, which was a topic I had the idea for largely before the coronavirus became a big thing. And when the big coronavirus is, as the coronavirus has become larger and larger, it's just made me have to learn lessons deeper and deeper about staying true to that power within myself.
And if you have one dream that will be granted for you today, Ella Gibbons, what would that dream be and why?
Davy's a genie.
You got to rub my tummy.
Don't say Harry Styles.
No, that's like,
You just said it.
Is that what you want, Harry?
Well, maybe the second dream. I guess, to be honest, I'm actually living so much of what I really dream.
Yes.
And it's all unfolding. But I guess today, I really want to share. I want to share these messages to people that can really have influence over, the people that already are governing our world. I really want to share with them what I've learned the hard way, through moving through all these experiences, share with them so that they can then have that flow-on effect to our population, and
is that
bring
what
in
you
more
want?
Harmony.
Is that what you
That's
want?
the correct answer.
If that opportunity was given to you to sit in a room with some of the key decision makers for you to pass the message to them, is that what your dream is?
That is a dream. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, I have a lot of big dreams, but so to pick just one is difficult. I mean, I have a dream of jumping up on a stage and singing my own songs to a lot of people. I have a dream that the company that I run is, people know about it all around the world, and I get to work with the most amazing people around the world. And I have a dream to be with Harry Styles. Yeah. Which one of those dreams will ever come true? Who knows?
Well, you're putting it out there. You're putting it out there to the universe. But obviously, your first answer to that question was that you want to get your message out there. So can I relate that back to you in the sense that the reason why I asked you that, because you could have just said you want to meet Harry Styles, which you did answer the first time round, but you were laughing about it. But the second answer was also important, and that was what's in your heart, is that you want to get your message out there to to the rest of the world to let people know about the power within, about humanity and all that. That is what we want to leave with this conversation today, that Ellie Gibbons from Atlas Consciousness want to reach out to the world and change the world for good. Is that right?
Yes, I think, yes. I mean, ultimately, that would be nice if I left the planet and that's kind of the impact. But I think the most important thing is just to help people feel like themselves again. That's all that it takes, you know. The more and more we allow that space to feel like ourselves, the more and more you're not going to even you're going to be so amazed at how much impact and change is available within ourselves when we really start addressing what we're anxious about, letting it go and being
You're
creative.
listening to 89.3 FM, 3 Quirks and a Turk. Let's get another song on with Chris Brown and Tiga Aya.
This my new shoe. I'm the black bitchy bitch with the roof missing. If it don't make dollars, don't make sense. Z, wake up like I gotta get it. And I got an engine for a trunk space. I get money 3 ways. 3 ways, 7 different formats. Plus she's no oblate, but I make that walk with some cheesecake. Yeah. I'm the coldest nigga I see. Looking in the mirror like I wish I can be me. She too into me, I'm more into money. My hobbies, her body, that's my lobby. I'ma eat it, I'ma eat it. I don't lie, hold my dick too conceited. Told her she my wife for the weekend. But don't be acting like I need you, cause we poppin' like
All my bitches got real hair, chillin' with the top down, screaming like hey, oh. I'ma take her out down, she bring her friend around, like hey, oh. I'm a bougie, left the roof at home. We vibin' like we vibin' like but don't be acting like I need you. I'm in the rose, you don't roll right. My chain shine brighter than a strobe light. I'm tryna Coco, this don't concern ice. If I motorboat, she gon' motorbike. I ain't worried about nothing. Rehabilitation just had me worried about money decision making, only worried about stunning. She worried about me, her nigga worried about cuffing. I wanna see her body. Then she said get inside of me. I wanna feel you, baby. Just bring the animal right out of me. We loving, she love it, especially when I go down on her. Now we fucking, she thuggin', getting loud.
Cause we poppin' like
all my bitches got real hair, chillin' with the top down, screaming like hey, oh. I'ma take her out down, she bring her friend around, like hey, oh. I'm a bougie, left the roof at home.
we poppin' like we poppin' like
but don't be acting like I need you.
Now I can spot your from a mile away. Valentine and that bitch, it's a holiday. You losing money, I win meals. Dr. J, she gon' follow my lead. Simon says,
Paper, I'm riding scrapers in California. Car smell like ammonia, we got that stank on us.
never been an outcast, that stank on you. From the ghetto, but my like Apollonia.
We in the hood, tatted like a Mexican. Car too fast, give a fuck about pedestrians.
And my section less is more lesbians.
Got your bitch, I'm that new.
Yeah, we poppin' like yeah.
All my bitches got real hair, chillin' with the top down, screaming like hey,
yeah.
I'ma take her out down, she bring her friend around, like hey, oh. I'm a bougie, left the roof at home. We vibin' like hey, oh, hey, oh, hey. But don't be acting like I need you.
Yeah, it's that fly shit. King shit only. Drop top, no roof.
89.3 FM, Madison Avenue. Who the hell are you? I'm surrounded by two most powerful women in the studio with us about empowerment, about the power within. Ella Gibbons, thank you so much for being with Three Quirks and Turk today.
Oh my God, it was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, before we finish off our segment today, ladies, coronavirus, I know we're going back to it again. On a positive note, what can our listeners take away today? Give us one advice or one strategies.
So I've sort of discovered this tool.
Yeah.
It always does start with meditation.
Okay.
So to start by taking that space to meditate and imagine that you were seeing an image of the virus or whatever it looks like to you, and you ask yourself, what is this here to teach me?
Okay.
And you keep asking yourself every time you feel that anxiety in your body, in your mind, and you start to get afraid, what is this here to teach me? And you will find that your body has wisdom.
Okay.
Your mind knows why you're actually feeling fear. Your mind knows why you're experiencing this virus right now, or experiencing the anxiety of it, if not experiencing it directly. And experiencing a world where we're all moving through this. And basically, inch by inch, through learning all of these little micro bits of lessons that you have, you will find your sanity again amidst all of it. And you'll have so much to share with other people who are going through a different level of the same experience, basically.
So it's also, you're also saying that you can apply this to not, even if it's just not coronavirus, it could be any challenges in your life. Right?
Any sense of powerlessness. So say you're feeling financially disempowered. You can look at that and see and ask, what is this here to teach me? And constantly just being rigorous with looking at the parts of your life where you feel deeply powerless and asking, what is this here to teach me? And that is how inch by inch you gain back the power within yourself, and you can start making choices in the direction of what you really prefer for your life, and that's moving in the direction of what you love.
Did you ask that question again with yourself, and did you find a discovery within yourself?
I'm here now only because I've constantly been asking those questions. So when the coronavirus first came, and I don't constantly have to travel all over the place, and I found that I was feeling afraid like everyone else, afraid of other people, afraid of sickness in my throat. Is this it? And I would absolutely face it and then find that it had something to teach me about feeling like I didn't have a voice, or feeling like I couldn't breathe.
Amazing. Our time is up. Ella Gibbons, thank you so much for being here with the Three Quirks and Turk.
Thank you.
We wish you the best of luck. And for those who want to reach out to Ella Gibbons, our podcast, our interviews also be on the Three Quirks and Turks Facebook. So you want to listen more into this segment, hit us up there. Otherwise, have a great weekend. X out the negatives in your life, and we'll catch up yours same time, same place next week.